because you've had the greatest amount of love, confidence, faith in each and every individual in this room. And like I said, it wouldn't be me if I let you get away today. So, to you, happy birthday, Uhuru.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chairman DC Ona, leaders of the African nation. Happy birthday to you.
Precious baby, birthday baby, love you. Oh, today is your birthday. I wish you many, many more. Oh, today is a special day, one you never had before. I'll sing you flowers.
And just so, to make sure that I don't forget, that's one. Just a token of our love and appreciation to each of you. S.G. Ghazi, S.G. Luwezi.
Yes, sir. You know, something you might know by now, what characterizes revolutionaries. I think something like someone like Guevara said, is the greatest capacity to love. Yes. And you always don't know what it is. You know, you just read about it, but when you see it, when you experience it, it's different. You meet people every day, they are full of love, ready to give. Ready to make you a better person every single time. And that's the chairman. And I remember when I met DC Ona, I had the opportunity to talk to her, properly the first time. I told her, you're marrying a great person. And she said, I'll do my best. And she has done more than her best. In her own right. And so both of them, not only they give us, political leadership, but also what love means. For all of us who, who love, and I guess everyone loves. That's, you are the way to follow. So it's just great to see you, and your right to be loved and happy is more than well deserved. So,
Uhuru. I love y'all so much. And, because of you, both, Africa has a future and will be a world power in the hands of the African working class. And I'm gonna tell a story. So, like Kalambayi said, before I knew better, there was a meeting that was happening. We were actually going to that march that Kalambayi was talking about, the No Justice, No Else, as chairman renamed it. And I was with somebody that was on the call. I wasn't on the call. I wasn't supposed to be in the meeting. But I could hear what was going on in the meeting because he had it on speakerphone. And, chairman came in on, and somebody raised that, there was some threats against, me, and that I shouldn't be, at that place and things like that. And they were discussing what to do. And, chairman interjected and said, if something happens, I need each and every one of you a part of that fight. I don't want to hear I didn't see, I was on my phone, because you out this party. If you come back, you ain't got no scraps on you. And I said, this man love me. This man love me. And I don't know how many times Deputy Chair done pulled me to the side to tell me, you are the Secretary General. And to speak that into me and to challenge me to always be better. And every time I become better, even better. And it just keeps going up and up and up. And I just appreciate you both and love you both so much. And you have given the nation a reason to live. And as someone who is an obvious homosexual, that's gonna be on my tombstone. But, obvious homosexual. We experience a, deep isolation, in the words of the chairman, who really put words to it that I never understood, and so many of us are kicked out of our homes because white power has the minds of our people. And I'm just so happy that, and everybody here should be so happy that we get to shout from the mountaintops that any African that's kicked out of their home, this is their real home. Yes. This is their real home, and this is their real leadership.
Comrade Penny. Penny has Jesse Neville. Jesse.
Oops. Uhuru, it's a profound honor to be here, to be part of this Congress, to witness it. And I just want to say, first of all, that the Chairman Omali Yeshitela, had faith in us as white people when we were still opportunists, self-centered, arrogant, unity with imperialism and parasitic capitalism, and fought for 10 years almost to win us to understand what it meant to be under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. And that has forever changed the world, because now there is an organization, there's a place for white people to go, and that we don't need to commit suicide, we need to commit national suicide. And I want to express my deepest love for Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zené Yeshitela. And I do want to say that, having been in the African People's Solidarity Committee since the beginning, 42 years ago, just about right now, just what we've seen, history changed. The party, the chairman changed the history. And from a time when we weren't organized to reparations, so there was no resources. There was the counterinsurgency, and the party had to face that. And that the chairman single-handedly kept the revolution alive, not, just sometimes by himself, and fought for this day, fought for the return of the day when revolution would be the main trend again, and led the party. And I want to salute Deputy Chair Ona Zené Yeshitela for just the brilliance of the African working class. And so many of us in APSC are directly under your leadership, and it is such an honor. It is such an honor to see the power in the hands of the African working class taking place every single day through the Black Power Blueprint and all the institutions of the party. So I know that I speak for all of the African People's Solidarity Committee and the Uhuru Solidarity Movement to just, say again, what a profound honor to be under the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zené Yeshitela. And happy birthday and many, 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 many more. And que viva Chairman Omali Yeshitela and Deputy Chair Ona Zené Yeshitela. Uhuru!
Uhuru. I was not expecting to be asked to say anything, so I'm sorry if this is crazy what I'm about to say. But I just want to say also what an honor it is to be here and echo everything that Chairwoman Penny Hess, my direct leadership in the African People's Solidarity Committee, just said, and just thank you both and wish you both a happy revolutionary birthday, and thank you. Thank you for creating African internationalism, Chairman. Thank you for saving white people from whiteness. And for making national suicide an option, because there's nothing else, and national suicide saved my life. And many others, many other white people who have joined in solidarity. And I still remember when I met both of you, Deputy Chair and Chairman, it was on the same day, January 10th, I believe, 2010, and I came into the Campus Activity Center at USF St. Pete. You were on stage, Chairman, being honored for the many books that you've written that were acquired into the archive there, and Deputy Chair was there. I think you coordinated that event, and I remember the little red velvet cupcakes with red, black, and green flags on little toothpicks. I still have that, actually, and I still have the flyer, and that day changed my life. And I just can't express my gratitude for both of you, for your leadership, for your humanity, for teaching me and other white people what it means to be human. We had absolutely no idea growing up as part of the parasite society. And I just specifically want to thank you both for, all of your leadership, the opportunity to build the Uhuru Solidarity Movement in APSC, and specifically, Chairman, for you pushing me to be a public Jew and using that as a weapon against white power. And the greatest compliment I've ever gotten in my life was during the mayoral campaign when somebody attempted to slander me by calling me Omali Yeshitela's pawn. That's my favorite compliment I've ever gotten. It's an honor to be a pawn of the African People's Socialist Party. Happy birthday, Uhuru.
Uhuru. I want to express a deep appreciation to you, Chairman, and DC Ona. And Chairman, the day that I seen you walking down the street, I can't even tell you how lost or confused and how hurt I was my whole entire life. And I found myself that day. And I'm just so happy that you took that moment in that crazy march to open your mouth and started spitting words that helped me sum up my whole life. And I appreciate you, DC, for looking at me that day when I took y'all in the back room. And I was trying to explain to y'all why I wasn't good enough. Because that's all I heard. Because of my school situation. And you looked at me and said, girl, whatever. You just was like, that's nonsense. But anyway, that's real cute. I don't know where you're going with this, but you can be whatever you want to be in this movement. And that's been consistent. So I just really appreciate you for the tough love, the compassion love, every kind of love that you can point towards a person. I have felt it in this movement and from you too. So thank you, Uhuru.
This is the most cryingest I've been in a long time. Don't tell nobody. But when I came to the party, I came, and Chairman walked up. I came to my first ALD, because I had been hearing about ALD. I didn't know what it was, and then all of a sudden I was in Maryland, and this is where ALD happens in D.C. And the Chairman walked up to me. He just saw me, zeroed in. And I didn't know who this man was. And he walked up to me and said, how are you doing? And then I was like, I'm fine, you know? And I'm like, then I'm just like, okay. And then I realized that this is the chairman of the African People's Socialist Party, and everything that I've seen shows that leadership don't really talk to the people, right? And from that point forward, you know, the chairman has been like my father, right? The chairman has been such a loving and the tough, right? Because chairman's tough. I don't want nobody to mistake the chairman's love for like, you know, like he's not tough, but also just like this really loving person that I really admire, that I want to emulate. Everything that has been said so far is that the chairman can cut you down, but do it in the nicest way, because he wants to have African people live to our full potential, be the best person that we can be, and he don't want to destroy no African, and he tries his best not to do that. And this is my whole entire experience in the African People's Socialist Party. And I just really appreciate African internationalism, because it made every single thing that I was before this make sense. From Hotep or whatever they call sister talking about Ashe every day, throwing blood on rocks, talking about I'm worshiping the moon. And struggling to figure out what the IMF was doing in Jamaica and that, all throughout Africa. And then when I came to the ALD that day, I found my home and never been a part of organization until now. And I've been in this party for 9 years. And I said, if it ever doesn't make sense to me, I'm gonna leave. And I'm still here because it always makes sense and it's always explaining the world. And I just want to appreciate DC Ona, because it's everything that everybody has said about DC Ona is true. She's tough. And she'll tell you about yourself, but also she does it because she wants us to be our best person. She wants us to be the best people that we can be, to make the most plans and make sure that we are successful for the African Revolution, because we cannot fail. And so I just appreciate you two both, and also just an example of a loving relationship between two comrades, which inspired me, and really the party brought me and my husband together. And you know, I just really want to appreciate that fact, that the politics of African internationalism brought me and Kiongozi together, and I just really appreciate that example that you show. Uhuru. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Uhuru. I really appreciate the movement and Chairman and DC, and I think I know the first time that I met the Chairman was at the reunion for the Million Man March. And I had been going around the world trying to find organization, and it was always just this craziness that was out there. People doing stuff to no end, or just you know, have a decent theory, but they weren't doing nothing. And a lot of even reparation organizations we found, we would travel to Chicago, go to different places, and none of them would ever mention the Chairman. Never mentioned the chairman. Then at the march, we had organized a bus to go up to the Million Man, I think the reunion for the Million Man March in '05. And I came across a table with Omali Yeshitela speaking. The chairman, I think Diop, and some other comrades was there. And I got the book and read it. And that January '06 was a plenary that we went to. And out of all the organizations, all the things I done been introduced to, that was the first time I said, if I don't join this organization, I can't say shit. I'm gonna just stop talking, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what revolution is about. And it really, you know, has taught me to be a better me, you know, and to try to produce my best me. And the chairman and DC Ona and the movement, that's what they push you to produce your best you for the African world. And you see that that's what they are. And even sometimes in struggle, you just emulate the chairman. Just try to do what the chairman do, you know, because I have never seen, even in criticisms and self-criticism, chairman has a way of criticizing you and it's sharp, but you leave that saying, damn, I gotta fix this shit, you know what I'm saying? You don't feel demoralized. I mean, if you went in the discussion demoralized, you come out of there saying, I'm finna fight like hell to correct this, you know what I'm saying? And I try to emulate that because that's what we want to be. We want to be the best sons and daughters and produce the best sons and daughters. And I never, you know, and I really appreciate that, is that this movement, in this movement, you're gonna produce your best self if you stay around. And you're gonna be what the African world needs you to be, because that's what African internationalism is. And DC, as a materialist, she gonna make sure you got a plan for that shit, and that is implemented step by step. And I really appreciate everything that y'all are, and the leadership that y'all are, not only to the NCC but to the whole African world. And without both of you in this movement, I won't be here. I wouldn't be here. And I've never, ever since I joined the movement in '06, I knew that there's nothing else for me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not in the party, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? And gone. Because I would never, you know, my loyalty will always be with the party and African internationalism, and that's what I will always fight for, and struggle to stand on the right side of the question, no matter how fucked up I may be. But I would never abandon this party and the politics that my leadership has shown me to be the right way and a vehicle that's gonna get us free. And I'll fight tooth and nail, because there's been places that we done win and the movement has sent us to, and I had no clue. But what I leaned on was African internationalism, and I knew if I said that just shouted everything else, because nothing else makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate Chairman for developing the theory of African internationalism, for your leadership, and for being something that we, you know, have to struggle to emulate, and for DC and for doing the same thing, and really showing that no matter the obstacle, that we can make this shit happen, and we winning. Uhuru, happy birthday.
Uhuru, I really want to just say happy birthday to Chairman and to DC. And I know, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the leadership to follow. Yes. This is the leadership to follow. This is the organization to be a part of. This is the movement that has to be built. And I want to appreciate the chairman because before meeting this movement, I was so lost. I had all of the things that imperialism told me I was supposed to have to make the world make sense. I had achieved the highest colonial educational degree that you could achieve. I had traveled, I had done all these things, and still my life felt so empty. Still, I didn't have any questions. I travel around the fucking world and I see everywhere African people don't have shit. But yet I've been told that Africa is where civilization started. When the hell was what happened? And I didn't understand what happened. And Kobina would talk about revolution. I didn't want to hear that shit because it didn't make sense. Because everything I heard that was talking sounded like revolution, going off into the mountains, doing some adventurous shit. And that didn't make sense to me. None of that shit made sense to me. But it wasn't until it didn't make sense. It wasn't until I met Omali Yeshitela Speaks, and I read it. I was so skeptical, but I read it, and I said, damn, that's why. damn, that's why. Damn, that's why. The whole world started to make sense. And it was the chairman and it was African People's Socialist Party that gave anything that I had ever learned any meaning. Any meaning. Now, with what you have that the people have allowed you to have through struggle, now it's your responsibility to use this to forward the African Revolution. And then that gave my life purpose. That gave my life purpose. And I want to appreciate the chairman for that. And I want to appreciate DC Ona because she's a bad black woman. In every sense of the word. She is a bad African woman. A bad African woman. And any kind of notion that anybody might have about African women's leadership is absolutely smashed by your example. Absolutely smashed. And not only are you an example to African women, you're an example to all colonized people, all African people and all colonized people around the world. And I just want to appreciate you and salute you and wish you happy birthday. Love you both so much. Uhuru.
Uhuru. All right, here it come. Woo. Trying to get it, trying not to do this before I got here. Okay, well, first and foremost, happy revolutionary birthday to both of my comrades who I've had the, just, I don't even know how to characterize this, but I've had the ability to know for all my life. And like, just, growing up, I always knew, you were two very important people, but never really understood that significance in the world until I became a part of this revolutionary process. And I'm just very, it's a reoccurring theme, this thing that people are saying about how we were lost, we couldn't find ourselves, everything didn't make sense. We had all of these things about ourselves. I'm no different. I really had a hard time trying to find the significance of myself, and I continuously do have to think about it all the time. And the whole thing about having to, the system, how disgusting the system is. Because we even have to say, you saved my life. You saved versus just being able to be born and live a free life and not having to feel like that. But we owe our lives to you, Chairman. We owe our lives to you because you saved the world. You saved the entire planet. And Deputy Chair Ona Zené Yeshitela is a part of that. Is a part of that legacy, is a part of saving the world and teaching African people how to stand on our own 2 feet. That all we need is the intelligence of the African working class and the trajectory of the revolution. That's all we need, and everything is possible. And it's based on that, the work that Chairman has led on his shoulders, as it was mentioned, sometimes alone, for 50 years. It's the reason why we can stand in this room and look people we've never known or thought we would ever see in our lives today. We all know each other. We have a relationship with one another because these two people brought us together. And every moment that I start to doubt myself, because I doubt myself, and what I can do, what I can contribute. I just remember that I didn't get a phone call in November 2017 for nothing. And I haven't been placed in these particular positions for nothing. And that, like I said, I owe my life to this party and to African people and to Chairman and Deputy Chair. I owe it. And also just on behalf of my dad, thank you, because You know, my dad says it a lot that, you know, he would be nothing without this party, and I have a hard time even struggling with him to see his own significance and just how amazing of a father he is, and that he was able to be that because of this party. And I think everybody can say the same thing, has said the same thing. So, you know, just deep revolutionary love for you both, and just appreciative of everything that I have learned from you. And, you know, that we will win this in your lifetime. In your lifetime. It is right there. It's on the horizon, and we have to take it in Chairman Omali Yeshitela's lifetime. Uhuru! Thank you.
Uhuru. Chairman, yeah, now I remember, I think for the first time I met you at Black and Nobel bookstore, you had that Mexican shirt on. I said, wow, look at him, man, looks too cool with that. What's he doing with that Mexican shirt on? I said, but you came there and you met with the organization and a group of people there, and you laid out about how the significance of the Black is Back March on the Wars and everything, how we had to, Philadelphia had to get it together. Diop was there, a lot of local people, Pam Africa and everybody. And from that time, I remember that was the first time we met, and then we met on Lancaster Avenue at the Solidarity, the place over there, and then that was very, very significant meetings. And, you know, those meetings happen for a purpose. So I think everything has a purpose. And I had no idea. I heard your message, and I didn't really know a whole lot. You know, I just was there. I went to a Black is Back rally. And from there, I had my camera, and a million pictures later, and I don't know where I've been all over the country. It was because of you and the deputy chair. So I just, and then you, that call, you gave me that call. I remember you called me that night, waking me up, and when I got that call, seeing your name on my phone, I was like, wow. And, you know, you kind of like enlisted me. You said, look, y'all, I need you. Would you know? And you can't refuse the chairman. It's a trick question, you know. So when he asked you, could you do it? That's a trick question. You can't say no. How the hell? You know, you want to say, well, I don't know about that. I don't know if I can do that. I can come, you know, attend the plenary, but I don't know if I can do that. But if chairman calls you, it's a purpose. So I just want to say, in the, you know, the time that I met you and you've been in my life, you felt like a very, very, very close and dear to me. And so I'm just still young. I feel young in this. I know I got this gray, but I still feel, the party makes you young. Damn, I mean, you sustain, just be doing the work. And with, you know, you just didn't, enlist, you know, didn't enlist me. You actually put people in my corner, you know. You said, look, I said, Chairman, I can't do this, man. I'll come, but I'm limited. You said, don't worry about that. We'll do what we have to do to get you to, you know, the help. And so on the day of your birth, I just want to profoundly wish you both a revolutionary happy birthday from the bottom of my heart. Uhuru.
Chairman, revolutionary birthday greetings to the chairman and the deputy chair. I'm going to say this publicly, and anybody want to repeat it, you can because you heard it out of my mouth. Chairman, I want to say that I am because you are. I'm in this movement at the level of this movement because of you. I first met you in 2000, I think it was 7, at an Cobra conference in Florida. And I was, trying to figure out where I wanted to be in the struggle, whether I wanted to be in reparations around health or around ex-offender issues, because I had spent 10 years incarcerated. So I was trying to figure out where I wanted to be in the movement. But I heard you at that conference that came from Chicago, and you put the reparations movement in the context of imperialism, in the context of parasitic capitalism. And I had never heard that before. I knew about the history of enslavement and the reason, the stolen labor, but to see it on a global scale, the way you pointed out at that presentation, locked me into the reparations movement. I left there, went back to Chicago, got deeper involved in the coalition. I became the Chicago chapter co-chair. And a year or so later, we had our conference, and we're going to have our national conference in Chicago. And the very first person, since I was of leadership, that I wanted to invite was the chairman. And you came and you set it off. So I have to owe what I've done in becoming this movement to the chairman. Most people do not know that my background is in business, and I even went, after incarceration, went back to school, got a master's degree in business administration. But nothing that I learned in business ever prepared me to do anything like the Black Power Blueprint. I mean, it is amazing what you have done. You have shown what nationalism actually means from an economic position. And I love you for that. Uhuru.
Uhuru Africa. Uhuru DC Ona. Aside from the political genius he is, this is the most unselfish African that I've ever met. I met Slim in 1983 or 84. I used to be in the AAPRP, and we always used to get into fights. So I never met Biko, but Biko gave me a call because he went to the same college, with this brother from the Gambia. And he said, man, you got to come to Oakland, man. And I said, yeah, okay, man, I will. And I went. Man, the moment I met him, man, I just fell in love with him like he's my elder brother, man, and I mean it, Slim. I saw him as my elder brother, and this guy was so humble and sharp, and man, you are truly my Mom Africa, man. I really love you, brother. And my sister hanging, you couldn't be any other than what you are hanging around him. Because he's a true soul brother, So, you hang around with soul brothers, you gotta be a soul brother or soul sister. Happy birthday, Ma Africa. Long live Omali Yeshitela, Uhuru.
Would either of you like to say anything? Or will this cord stretch down there? Because you could have came down.
Uhuru comrades. So this time last year, I was here, but we were at the church on Grand, I think it is, on Grand, having a meeting. And it was our birthday, and we were celebrating the birthday right here in St. Louis. But today, we're here in our own house, the Uhuru House. And I know people talk a lot about, about what I've done, but it wasn't me, it was you that done all of this. I couldn't have done none of this without each and every one of you, and I mean it, because everybody has contributed to the Black Power Blueprint, to the APDF, to the Uhuru movement. All your contributions can't go unannounced. So I really, really want to appreciate each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart and just say thank you and uhuru, and we will be free in our lifetime. And I just want to say happy birthday to the chairman. You know, I love you with all my heart. It's because of you that I'm the person that I am now, that I never thought I could be. I never thought I would be a revolutionary, fighting for liberation for African people. And you just believed in me, just kept me going, and I just love you. I love you with all my heart, and I just want to say happy birthday and thank you. Uhuru. I just want to say thank you for this money, but it's going to go to AMWO, it's going to go to NPDOM, and it's going to go to APDEP. Uhuru.
Uhuru. I just want to appreciate this. I usually, I don't, this, you know, the kind of subjective, you know, thing I just heard my wife speak, and hopefully that means I'll get lucky tonight.
Yes, you will.
But all joking aside, I've always.
I'm not joking.
I want to wish Ona, my wife, a happy birthday. I have always said and believed that the struggle for just personal happiness is a bourgeois pursuit. And I have lived like that. I truly have lived like that. And it has led to a certain kind of isolation. You know, though I'm with and know a lot of people and around a lot of people, it has contributed to a lot of isolation and of coming from a thousand different reasons, you know. And when I met Ona Zené Yeshitela, when I first saw her, and just this thing, her sparkle in her eyes and what have you, and it was, you know, she was just lit me up, and I feel in so many ways that it was life-saving for me, just in terms of, like I said, the isolation. And I won't say too much more about that, but it was deep, it was profound, it was very important, and so she came into my life. And initially, she came into my life, and she wasn't in the party, wasn't in the movement, and she would say all the time, can I do something to help? Can I be helpful? And I would say, well, you really don't understand this stuff. You understand what it is and she didn't. She didn't know what we were doing. But she wanted to be helpful, etc. And but once she came into the door, it was a major transformation, major contribution. I want to say this because many people have made the mistake, and one horrible human being who used to be in the leadership of this party once stated publicly that somehow Ona Zené Yeshitela is a leader of this party because she is married to me, that somehow this is the thing that made her a leader in this party. He knows better. He knew better. He had to know better than that. And anybody who's been in this party and who especially has had the ability to be around us and in the mix, know that's a lie, and that Ona has made a profound contribution to the African People's Socialist Party. And in so doing, she's made a major contribution to the African Revolution, to the liberation of African people. And so I truly, I have been made so much happier as a consequence of knowing this woman and having her in my life. So I wanted to say that. Heard someone say, and as I used to say, independence in my lifetime, freedom, liberation in my lifetime. And I truly, there was a time that I did not think I would live to be 30 when I was involved early on in this revolutionary struggle. I truly didn't believe, I didn't think it. In fact, we used to have a saying in Jomo that if you live to be 30, you're lucky. If you live to be 40, you're a sellout. You understand? And I did not expect to live longer than that. But today, I am 80 years old minus 3. And a problem that I have is I can't get used to being 80 years old minus 3, It's an extraordinary contradiction that can lead one to dangerous kinds of adventures, you understand? One assumes one can still do all the things, You'll
be all right, baby.
So, having lived longer than 30, everything else has been gravy, you know what I mean? And I appreciate you so much. I appreciate our movement, our party, and I just want to say my love for Africa and our people is real. It's no BS. I can't stand phony stuff. I don't, sometimes I have problems with certain kinds of ceremony. I love ceremony, Carmen Louise, can remember how, I'm not religious. And when I say I'm not religious, I am not religious. I am not religious. I mean that in ways that people who are don't have the ability to understand. I mean that in ways that people who are in the neighborhood of religion don't have the ability to understand. I am not religious, you understand? But there's some ceremony that I like, Africa, and I like, the pouring the water, across the
path when one is leaving. I like that. That's I haven't quite got what it means yet, but and there are various other things like that. I love Africa. I love Africa, and I was in my 60s when I first went to Africa, and it was an extraordinary thing for me because it took me a while to try to explain what I was experiencing in Africa. Because I'd say things like being in Africa is like being around your grandmother or something like that. And finally it dawned on me that in Africa, it was the first time in my life for more than 60 years of not feeling like a stranger. And people speaking all different languages and stuff like that, you know, I didn't even know I felt like a stranger in this country until I went to Africa. And so I love Africa. I fight for Africa. And our babies, our children, this relationship is true that I have with our children, because the children, I've been in places, I've been in Sierra Leone, in the Y where we were living, Comrade Louise, and you can stand on this little porch balcony upstairs and look down and see the rats and things running, you know, and then you see this little naked child, you know, just a happy child, standing in something like might be called a wash basin or something like that, and the mother is washing the child, soaping the child, and pouring the water on the child and what have you. I've gone to circumstances like that in Africa, communities like this, right here, and I see our children. They're so bright and so happy. And they haven't the slightest idea of what's waiting for them out there. Do you know? That affects me in a very serious way. Those are our children. And they have no idea what's waiting. They're so happy, so damn innocent. And all the horrors that's out there, they're gonna be dead, they're gonna be drug pushers, they're gonna be pushed into prison, they're gonna be shot by the police, they're gonna be, all this stuff is waiting for them unless we create a different future. You know, so anyway, I don't know how I got there, but I thank you so much. And this contribution that you've made to me, I'm going to pay on my pledge. To who did what? I pledged to something. To the party, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm putting this on my pledge, and I thank you so much. I really do thank you. I thank you, and everybody here. Everybody here is on the right side of history. I thank you so much, and I want to say this one final thing, and that's regarding Comrade Penny Hess. Who is my dear comrade, and she talks about my being responsible for her being here. Well, when I met Penny Hess, I used to smoke cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes. You understand? I mean, I really smoked cigarettes. Because I don't know how to do anything in moderation, right? And I remember we'd have meetings, and people in the Solidarity movement they try to sit near windows. And they could keep open the windows because I smoked cigarettes. Well, I lit cigarettes from the ones still burning in my mouth. And I stopped smoking cigarettes. Penny harassed me about that, but it didn't mean anything. And the reason it didn't mean anything was because I didn't expect to live long anyway. I used to say, you know, the imperialists will kill me before cigarettes any damn way, so what the hell? But what Penny Hess did do was, years ago, she gave me a carton of soy milk. It was very insidious. She gave me a carton of soy milk, and I said, okay, thank you, Penny. And I put the soy milk in my office and stayed there for 3 years. I said, okay, Penny, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try the soy milk. She said, Chairman, don't try that one. But she, you know, really played a role in, you know, my diet and eating and running. I started running probably through an influence from Penny Hess. And even going to the gym and what have you, you know. So, you know, we owe Penny a lot. That's one of the reasons I am 80 minus 3 is because Penny was really persistent, a pain in the ass, you know, around, you know, things in the struggle to fight for health. And we all have to stay alive. We have a revolutionary obligation to protect ourselves, to protect the revolution. And when you do otherwise, it's really a crime against the revolution for you to do things that will harm you, and you know that it will harm you. Because coming into the revolution, you no longer belong to yourself, you know. I want to just thank everybody again. I really appreciate it. And although there must be, I just talked about health, and now somebody's got this ton of sugar down there. Thank you. Happy birthday, love. Happy birthday.